Right now at 5, Ascension Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh gives an update following a ransomware attack on its systems.
And clouds gradually increasing today with those mostly cloudy skies. Warm temperatures prevail though. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, we'll learn how Good Samaritans helped a Parsons, Kansas family when their home caught fire.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, of course, here in the 4 states. It's June the 11th. We're almost halfway through this month, and
we just started June. Actually,
it feels like it. It does feel like it, but boy, we're going to be reminded just how far into June we really are here before too much longer. As temperatures really begin to heat up across the area. So it's been a little. We've had some hot summers, but it's been a while since we've had a really hot summer, and it looks like we may be trending that way again this year for very hot temperatures.
Absolutely.
But the good news is, I guess, it's not too hot right now.
Right, yeah.
If we could just hold on to this for a few hours longer, we'd be all right. Let's start with a look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex in downtown Joplin. And you can see as we're looking roughly to the northeast, some of those clouds beginning to increase out there. I did not adjust this, but we'll take a quick look around various MoDOT cameras in the city. There's another view of those clouds looking back to the east from 7th and Garden Grove. And they will continue to increase as we go through the morning. Still have this flood advisory until 8 o'clock this morning, and then we still have a few of those rivers, creek, and stream flood advisories and flood warnings out there as well. So again, if you're planning on being in the water, if you've got some time off this week, if you're going to go anywhere where these advisories and warnings are, heed what local officials say. If they tell you it's not safe to get in the water, do not do that. We're looking down the road just into this afternoon, and other than the increasing clouds again across the area, we're not expecting any kind of rain, and unfortunately the clouds aren't going to do a lot to keep the temperatures down or keep the UV index down. Starting this morning, some upper 50s, quite a few low 60s out there, so fairly, again, decent start for us. We're going to be warming back up into the low 80s. In fact, we're looking at a few more low, maybe even mid 80s for some of us. These clouds will gradually increase through the morning into the afternoon, and then they'll start to clear out a bit as we head later into the evening and into the overnight hours. Temperatures will continue to heat up through the week. We'll have a full look at your forecast, break that all down for you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, just before midnight, I-44 westbound traffic was halted for an hour as a car crashed into the rear end of a dump truck in a work zone. Joplin police say 3 people in the car were transported to area hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. The work zone operates overnight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. It covers an area along I-44 near the South Main Street exit. It began 2 weeks ago as MoDOT is working on bridges. The crash occurred at highway speeds. However, officials ask you to slow down in work zones. Numerous workers were present during the crash and no one was injured. A Dunweg, Missouri man is charged with child sex crimes. Jasper County detectives last week searched the home of 36-year-old David Arnhart as part of their investigation. They arrested him during the search, and he is now charged with 2 counts of first-degree sodomy and 1 count of furnishing pornographic material to a minor. If you're ever on the go and want to still be able to watch our newscast live, just download the KOAM Plus app. It's available free of charge on the app store of your choice. Just search for KOAM Plus. Well, the Missouri Department of Conservation announced it's temporarily closing the Walter Woods Conservation Area in Newton County. The department says it noted structural concerns with vehicular and pedestrian bridges during a recent inspection. A reopening date has not yet been set because of EPA remediation work scheduled to begin there later this year. The inspection was a precautionary step in the remediation work. Ascension Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh bounces back after a ransomware attack earlier this year. Hospital officials say patient documentation technology is back online. The systems were taken offline following the ransomware attack, and officials say the update should mean improved efficiencies in wait times for patients. The Parsons Police Department is recognizing the efforts of Good Samaritans following a fatal house fire. Authorities say they have been interviewing those who assisted to learn more about their actions, to also thank them for stepping up. KOAM Samantha Walker has more.
I feel for the remaining kids that are still alive, all her friends, family, co-workers. It's a horrible tragedy.
Tragedy is the word that has been used to describe this fatal house fire in Parsons, which took the life of a mother and her 18-month-old baby. But in this story of tragedy, a bit of good is brought to light.
As a community, when something like this happens, that we are there for each other, that we are there to support each other, help each other. This tragedy could have been a lot worse had it not been for the Good Samaritans.
Following the fire, the Parsons Police Department was made aware of the involvement of several Good Samaritans. They asked for those involved to come forward to do interviews with authorities so they can learn more about what happened. Officials say many were helping to assist victims even before firefighters, EMS, and police arrived.
We had some that brought the kids out and the mom. We had others that were helping take them across the street to get them away from the fire. We had some just there to help in any way they could.
Authorities in Parsons say they just want to thank the brave Good Samaritans who stepped up in a time of need.
The biggest thing I could tell them is that how much and how grateful that we at the police department, that they were there and that they could help this family. And while it still ended up being a tragedy with the 2 deaths, we still have, the remaining people. And to me, that's important that they stepped up and helped.
Reporting in Parsons, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The Parsons Police Department says they are still investigating the fire, including its cause. Multiple other agencies are involved, including the Kansas State Fire Marshal's Office and the Labette County Sheriff's Office. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes, coming up on the KOAM Morning News. We'll meet the local wrestlers competing at the national level at the USA National Wrestling Duels. Plus, drones light up the Hong Kong sky for a traditional Chinese festival. And we have a warm and partly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
The USA National Wrestling Duels begin this week, and multiple young athletes from Southeast Kansas get to represent their state. KOAM sports reporter Brock Baldridge has the story.
The USA Wrestling National Duels get underway, and a handful of young athletes get to represent Team Kansas.
We got 5 or 6 local kids from Southeast Kansas qualified for the national duel tournaments. The first set of national duels is in Council Bluffs, Iowa, I believe. It's going to be the elementary age group, which is like 12 and under. And then we also have 2 Pittsburgh kids that qualified for 14 and under national duels that are in Philadelphia. This area is represented real well from on a national level the next couple weeks.
Traveling the country and competing at a national stage is something wrestling coach L.C. Davis has prepared them for.
Know that they train with the best down here in Southeast Kansas and go represent what we are, hardworking people that give it their all and do their best. So I think they'll go out there and do well as long as they go out there with confidence.
One of the kids competing at nationals in Philadelphia is L.C.'s son, D.K., who's looking forward to representing his state.
It's great, you don't really get this many, memories with your parents and stuff, so it's really nice to have this memory. Usually, most people from Kansas are usually in like Wichita and Kansas City, and it's nice to have a few Southeast Kansas kids representing the state.
Man, it's exciting for me as a coach as well to see my kids. I got a couple Pittsburgh kids wrestling on a national level, so it's going to be awesome, as well as my son, so looking forward to it and just going to be soaking it all in.
Then there's Baylor Bowman, who's putting in the final touches for his journey to wrestle at nationals in Iowa.
It's going to be a fun experience. You may never win a match, but at least go out there and try to win a match. Have fun and just do the best you can to win.
Baylor's got a few ideas on what he'll do no matter the result.
Take them down, turn them, and try to just win. And if you don't, just have fun, go off the mat, walk off like a man.
In Pittsburgh, Brock Baldridge, KOAM Sports.
The 14 and under age group competes in Philadelphia. That tournament begins on Wednesday. Still to come, the FDA and the Department of Justice are teaming up to fight against the sale of illegal e-cigarettes. Plus, got another check of that warm forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:15 now on this Tuesday morning, taking a live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Got a beautiful view of that sunrise. We also can see those clouds out there, and they will continue to gradually increase as we head through the morning hours. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Again, even in the darker light here, you can still see the outline of those clouds off to the north. MoDOT camera down in Neosho on 6059, looking back to the west, also looking good. But again, we're going to see clouds increasing. A quick reminder, we have this aerial flood advisory that continues through 8 o'clock this morning, and then in with all of that, we have the various river, creek, and stream flood warnings and advisories. So as we've mentioned, if you're heading out to the water, heed the advice of the local officials. If they say it's too dangerous to get in the water, believe them. They know what they're talking about. Don't risk it. The future track is frozen up. Okay, let's see how well this goes from here. We're not looking at anything precipitation-wise, but we are looking at cloud cover increasing as we go through the morning, and we'll stay partly to mostly cloudy as we head through the afternoon and into the evening. And as we go overnight, we'll be partly cloudy, and towards sunrise tomorrow, we'll see those skies clear. And with clear skies throughout the day on Wednesday, that's going to allow our temperatures to get even warmer as we head into our Wednesday out there. And despite the cloud cover today, we still have a very high UV index of a 9.7. Burn time has only decreased by 5 minutes, so you still need to make sure you're taking precautions out there. It may not seem like it, but just the limited amount of sun we can get is still going to be enough to be a problem. So again, make sure you're taking precautions. Make sure you're staying hydrated as well as temperatures continue to warm up. 60 in Joplin right now. You can see a few more of those clouds out there on our camera at 7th and range line. East-southeast breeze at about 5. Around the region, temperatures, again, not too bad to start the day. Upper 50s and low 60s. So again, for June, you can't complain about these temperatures, just a few degrees below normal out there, but this is not going to last forever as we continue to warm toward the end of the week. All right, partly cloudy through the morning. Again, gradually increasing clouds. 77 by 11 o'clock today. And as we head into the afternoon, we're looking at low 80s, maybe even close to mid 80s for some highs out there today. So despite the cloud cover, not going to be an issue warming us up as we head through the afternoon. Into the evening, again, we'll start to see those clouds gradually break up and clear out. We'll be partly cloudy overnight before clearing out towards sunrise tomorrow. And our temperature is a little closer to normal, more low 60-degree readings out there. As mentioned, though, temperatures continue to warm, upper 80s for us tomorrow, and then we're going to settle into the 90s, and we're going to settle into the 90s for quite some time. As you see on the 10-day here, we go into the weekend. Look at Sunday, 95 degrees. That's not counting the heat index, not to mention we're looking at sunny skies on Sunday, so there's that opportunity. Again, that UV index will be very high, so make sure you're staying hydrated, make sure you're taking precautions out in the sun. Our next best chance of rain at this point looks to be next Wednesday. Could see a few stray showers here and there, and we still remain in the 90s, and look at those overnight lows into the 70s. That's a check your forecast. We're back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. Housing for cancer patients can add thousands of dollars to the already costly treatments they have to face. That's why health officials in Arizona created the Homes Away from Home project to help patients and their families in their fight with the disease. Desiree Fluellen takes us there to learn more.
These 8 homes sit on land owned by Banner, which is right across the way from Banner MD Anderson Cancer Center, where patients like Cecilia and Giselle are getting treatment.
I'm relieved that we're going to be very close. If anything happens, I can just get there and I don't have to worry.
Giselle's mom, Cecilia, was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia last year. Giselle was her bone marrow donor, and through this journey has learned a lot about her mother and herself.
She's really tough. She's a tough cookie. And of myself, just how much I really love my family and how much I'm willing to sacrifice for them.
This is now their home. Giselle lives in California and Cecilia in Coolidge, but post-surgical treatment requires they live within 30 miles of the cancer center.
The cost of housing alone through cancer treatments can be upward of $6,000.
Which is why Banner's Homes Away from Home, built by Taylor Morrison and organized by the Home Edit, are critical for patients.
We're actually going to see better care and better outcomes in their fight with cancer.
I can't even express how I'm feeling today. This is kind of the culmination of 5 years of a tremendous vision by a lot of people, and to see this dream come to reality.
The layout in each home is similar. As soon as you step in, you have your laundry room here, which will be very convenient, and then you have a full bathroom here and one of 2 beautiful bedrooms.
2 bedroom, 2 bath, beautiful kitchen, outdoor private spaces.
Each home will house one patient and their caretaker or family. Stays can range from 2 weeks to 30 days or longer at no cost for patients.
The U.S. FDA and the Department of Justice are teaming up to fight against the sale and distribution of illegal e-cigarettes. Yesterday, the FDA and Justice Department announced they are creating a task force to target the issue. The new federal task will include the U.S. Marshals Service, the Federal Trade Commission, and other agencies. The group will enforce tobacco laws and, if broken, can result in felony convictions and criminal fines. The creation of this new task force comes after the FDA issued more than 1,000 warning letters to several distributors and manufacturers for illegally selling or distributing unauthorized tobacco products. In December, the agency seized about 1.4 million units of unauthorized e-cigarette products. A new study finds people who are closely following a plant-friendly diet of mostly fruits, vegetables, and whole grains can reduce the risk of premature death by nearly 1/3. That diet at the same time can dramatically cut the release of greenhouse gases, which raise global temperatures. The study analyzed dietary data from more than 200,000 women and men. It found eating a planet-healthy diet cut land use by 51%, greenhouse gas emissions by 29%, and fertilizer use by 21%, all while also extending lives. One of the authors said the findings show just how linked human and planetary health are. As temperatures rise, drinking enough fluids is one of the most important things you can do to prevent heat-related illness. But it can be hard to get your child to drink enough water. Mandy Gaither has some creative ways to help keep your kids hydrated this summer.
Much of our body is made up of water. When it's hot outside, we have to refill it, and children can be especially vulnerable to dehydration.
I always get asked how much water should my child have, but dependent on their activity level, their age, it's going to be different.
Signs of dehydration in children include dizziness, drowsiness, dry mouth, sunken eyes, crying with little or no tears, urinating less often, or having fewer wet diapers. To support a child's hydration, take water everywhere you go, says Strong for Life licensed and registered dietitian Catherine Sherry.
Let them pick out their own water bottle. Let them decorate it with stickers so they take ownership of it.
Sherry says to add fruits, veggies, and herbs to the water to make it full of flavor without adding excessive amounts of sugar.
One thing I love to do is when my berries have seen better days in the fridge, I'll mash them up and put them in ice cube trays. And so I'll use that as ice. And as that ice starts to melt, it makes that water more sweet.
Sherry says to avoid sports drinks unless the child is vigorously active in the heat. She says food and water can replenish electrolytes without extra sugar and limit use of juice and other high sugar beverages.
There was a meta-analysis published that juice does contribute towards obesity in children. So when thinking about offering it, we want to keep it minimal.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Sherry says it's not necessary to give water to children 6 months and younger. She says breast milk or formula will meet a baby's hydration needs. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got an absolutely beautiful start to the day out there. Clouds increasing, though. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, young musicians had a chance to advance their musical skills.
And we've got a beautiful start to the day. Clouds increasing as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures following suit. We'll have a look at that forecast. Get you out the door. Coming up.
Plus, local golfers came together to help raise money for children battling disease.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:29. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. So it's Tuesday. It's June the 11th.
Yes.
I've seen other morning shows. They let people know kind of what day it is because 5:30 in the morning, that's the last thing that you're checking is what day it is.
Absolutely.
Or sometimes you're probably waking up going, what is today? I have to do this thing today. So if we tell you, then you go, oh, no, wait, it's Tuesday. I don't have to worry about that today. So
absolutely.
That's
good
helpful.
thinking, Chris.
I am full of terrible ideas. Believe me, I can find more. But you know what's not too terrible?
Uh-oh.
I ran out of ideas. It is going to be warmer today. It's going to be hotter as we head into the weekend. I was going to say the weather, but then it dawned on me it's going to start to get really darn hot outside. So that was I had to backtrack that very quickly. Let's start with a look outside. It is not hot right now. It's actually very comfortable right now. And as you can see from MoDOT camera 32nd range line back off to the north, you see those clouds. They will continue to increase. Do want to remind folks we have this aerial flood advisory through 8 o'clock and then a number of flood warnings and advisories for some of the area creeks, streams, and rivers out there. So do be cautious, especially if you've got some time off this week planning on hitting the water. You do want to be careful out there. The only thing we have on the future track as we head into the afternoon is those increasing clouds across the area. And despite the clouds, it does not reduce the UV index, nor is it going to stop our temperatures from warming up. But again, now it is comfortable. Upper 50s, low 60s. So again, some of us just a few degrees below normal, but enjoy it because that's going to begin to change over the next several days. Clouds increasing gradually through the morning into the afternoon, and then they'll kind of start to decrease as we head through the evening and overnight hours. Our highs today going into the low to mid 80s across the area. That's ahead of highs later this week and into the weekend going into the 90s. We'll break down the details on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll check in with you soon, Chris. Well, young musicians yesterday had a chance to advance their skills. Pitt State hosted the Josiah Fletcher Jazz Camp for students in 6th through 12th grades. The 2-day camp provides the students with an educational experience regardless of their skill level. The camp is hosted in honor of Josiah Fletcher, a Pittsburgh High School student and bass player who passed away during his senior year.
We are so grateful for all our supporters. We've had so many supporters that have come in and made this possible. This is a really great opportunity for some of our students to work not only in a wonderful facility like the Bicknell Family Center for the Arts, but then also with these professional musicians to truly get even more tips that they can take and put into their own practice.
The camp continues later today before it's capped off with a concert at 6 p.m. The Erie, Kansas City Public Library and Neosho County Conservation District held a Conservation Day program yesterday. The program emphasizes to kids the importance of different organisms and cycles in our environment. Officials also hope it sparks interest in children for career paths in conservation in the future.
It gives them an interest. You know, at a young age like that, it gives them an interest, and then when they get into high school, maybe that interest is stuck with them and they can start looking into careers of how they can get into conservation of some sort.
The students were also able to create their own edible dirt to learn more about soil. Well, the Southeast Kansas Nature Center is celebrating 20 years. The SEK Nature Center is located in Schremerhorn Park, south of Galena. You can find snakes, salamanders, frogs, turtles, and more in the Nature Center. The goal of this center is to introduce wildlife and to educate the community about native Kansas wildlife.
They're going to see several native species to this region and lots of drawers and exploration stuff to get into. So, and you know, lots of hands-on things. We try and make it as friendly as we can to all groups so that they can get into stuff and learn a little bit more about what we've got down here in the Kansas Ozarks.
The Nature Center is open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Sunday from 1 to 4 p.m. Some local golfers yesterday helped raise money for children battling disease. Storms postponed the Freeman Health System Tournament of Miracles last week, so it teed off yesterday instead of instead at Twin Hills Golf and a country club in Joplin. The 8-hole 4-person golf scramble raises money for Children's Miracle Network hospitals at Freeman Health System. That money helps pay for treatment of children in the program.
Because all these people, we don't know them, but the fact that they care about children like Vincent is amazing. You know, we could not get Vincent what he needs without having the help and having the resources. So watching all these strangers come together and how they interact with him and how they just care, and it's amazing.
This is the 32nd year Freeman has hosted the Tournament of Miracles. Did you know alpacas can be pregnant for over a year? Meet Wild Ivy, the newest addition to the Magajupa mine alpacas in southeast Joplin near Dunweg. Her mother was pregnant 357 days before she gave birth to the baby, or Cria alpaca. Wild Ivy turned 1 week old today and officially received her name. The farm now has 13 total in its alpaca herd.
Enjoyable to take them to nursing homes and to birthday parties. The kids enjoy it. I like to watch them right in the evening time, right before it gets dark, because they'll all start doing their running. And the younger ones, when they get done running, they'll pronk, and that means that they just bounce. And it's pretty fun to watch. And when you have a bunch of little ones, they'll just chase each other until they're tired, and they'll just lay down.
Magajupa will also be hosting a U-Pick flower farm in the coming weeks. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Australia's Prime Minister is condemning the vandal who defaced the United States consulate in Sydney. Plus, Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Israel for a meeting with Israel's Prime Minister. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Topping World Watch, drones light up the Hong Kong sky for a traditional Chinese festival. Revelers came out last night for the annual Dragon Boat Festival. The drones light show, which featured rice dumplings, flew over Victoria Harbor to mark the holiday. The dumpling became a symbol of the festival centuries ago. Legend has it that locals threw dumplings into a river to save a local official who jumped into the water under pressure from other officials. Supporters hoped the fish would be drawn to the dumplings, sparing the official from being eaten. There was also a drone depicting the popular Japanese cartoon character Doraemon. Australia's Prime Minister is condemning the vandal who defaced the United States consulate in Sydney yesterday. Local media reports it appeared to be in protest of the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. Police say 9 windows of the consulate were damaged and the building's door was graffitied. Surveillance video showed a person using a small sledgehammer to carry out the act. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Israel yesterday for a meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Some key members of Netanyahu's government, however, have had enough. Troy Yingst is in Tel Aviv with the latest.
A political shakeup rocking Israel overnight. 2 War Cabinet members, Benny Gantz and Gadi Eisenkot, left Benjamin Netanyahu's emergency government, accusing the Israeli Prime Minister of putting his own political survival over the country's security needs.
Regrettably, Netanyahu is preventing us from advancing toward true victory, which is the justification for the ongoing and painful cost of war.
The decision is not expected to collapse the current Israeli coalition, but will put new pressure on Netanyahu by making him more reliant on far-right ministers in his government. These ministers are opposed to a U.S.-backed ceasefire proposal that would end the current war in Gaza and bring some of the remaining hostages home. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in Israel today to discuss negotiations surrounding such an agreement. He says Israel is on board, but Hamas is not.
If you want a ceasefire, press Hamas to say yes.
After a daring Israeli operation over the weekend that rescued 4 hostages from central Gaza, Hamas released a statement in opposition to a deal that doesn't include a permanent ceasefire. New details are emerging about that raid. The Israeli military says the hostages were held in 2 civilian apartment buildings. According to a spokesman for the local hospital in Gaza, more than 300 were killed or wounded during the operation.
In a joint rescue operation with the Shin Bet, the Army, and a police commando team that was conducted under fire in the heart of Gaza, we were able to get 4 hostages back to their homes.
With no diplomatic solution emerging, Israel is expected to continue operating inside the Gaza Strip to search for the remaining 120 hostages.
And that's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 5:44 on this Tuesday morning. A live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Got a light breeze out there. Clouds again gradually increasing, but of course sometimes those clouds will give us an absolutely beautiful view of the sunrise. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. A little better now view of those clouds again off to the north with a little more daylight out there. And we're looking pretty good down in Neosho from MoDOT camera 60 and 59. Quick reminder on the flood advisory. This is an aerial flood advisory through 8 o'clock this morning, and then embedded in that is a number of river, creek, and stream flood warnings and advisories. So again, if you're heading to the water, make sure you are taking precautions. If the officials say it's too dangerous to get in, don't chance it. Just stay out of the water. I know it's not pleasant because it's going to be so warm, but you don't want to take those chances. No precipitation on the future track as we head in the afternoon and evening other than just those increasing clouds. And as we go overnight tonight, we'll be partly cloudy, and towards sunrise tomorrow, we will clear out and we are going to be sunny and even warmer for us tomorrow. And despite the clouds today, that's not going to reduce that UV index by much. Still a 9.7, so that just puts the burn time it gives you 5 extra minutes to 15 minutes out there. So again, if you're working outside, make sure you're taking those precautions, and if you can, limit the time outdoors as well. And of course, as temperatures continue to heat up, make sure you stay hydrated. Another view of those clouds and another view of that beautiful sunrise out there this morning from our camera at 7th and range line. 60 in Joplin right now. Breeze is east-southeast at about 5. Around the area, again, temperatures, some of us still below average out there, so not bad. We're looking at upper 50s and low 60s, but this is really about the last below average day we're going to have for a while. As we head through the morning, again, clouds gradually increasing. We'll be about 77 by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, low to mid 80s out there, and that wind will be light and variable, so you're not going to get much relief from the wind across the region as we head into the afternoon hours. And again, we'll start to go partly cloudy as we head later into the evening and overnight. Clouds will steadily decrease, and we'll fall back into the low 60s. And as we look down the road, temperatures continue to increase out there. Sunny skies return heading into the weekend. Temperatures climbing low mid 90s out there by Sunday. So again, make sure you're staying hydrated, taking precautions in the sun. We're going to hold on to the 90s for a while, and we don't have another decent chance of rain, and even then it's pretty low until next Wednesday. 20% chance of a few isolated showers. And look at the overnight lows climbing back into the low 70s. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
A teen from Missouri is now the fastest 8th grader in the state and the 4th fastest in the nation. Marley Campbell was able to catch up with the young track star.
She does not like to lose at all.
There's fast, and then there's Ella Messner fast.
In the moment, it's very painful, but afterwards, it just feels like rewarding, and I'm proud of myself.
The 14-year-old out of Academy Lafayette ran a 5-minute, 5-second mile at last week's Hoka Festival of Miles in St. Louis.
Ella Messner is your champion,
winning the race and breaking her personal record by 17 seconds.
I was kind of in shock at first, I couldn't wrap my head around it.
She executed it perfectly, like a master class in how to run the mile.
She's now the fastest 8th grader in Missouri and the 4th fastest in the entire country. In her coach's words,
sky's the limit for her.
She'll start with high school, attending St. Teresa's Academy this fall, where she'll, of course, run cross country and track.
I just want to, be part of the team.
She likes to set big goals for herself, and as long as she keeps doing that, I think she could dream as big as she wants to dream.
Well, one thing most children look forward to on their birthdays are the parties and the presents. And for those experiencing homelessness, that's a wish that won't come true. But two mothers in Renton, Washington are trying to change that thanks to their nonprofit, which gives parties to children experiencing homelessness. Leah Pizzetti has more.
A wrapped gift and maybe a cake. The things that could define a birthday.
But for families experiencing homelessness, it's not that simple.
In their situations, birthday parties are kind of a luxury. They're looking just to get by.
So Two Renton Moms created Birthday Dreams, a nonprofit that gathers birthday supplies and silently passes it off to families in need. In 15 years, they've helped 15,000 kids.
We don't want to take credit for this. It's the parent who's the hero, who's doing the best they can in the hardest situation you can imagine. And so we are that, secret force that comes in, helps the parent provide that moment of joy, hope, and smiles for their kid, and let the child see them as the one providing it. Yeah.
But sometimes they do make a show of it, calling in backup.
We got plenty of room for that.
Former Seahawks players Alonzo Mitz
Yeah.
and Randall Morris, here to add to the surprise. Randall helps support this nonprofit with donations and guest appearances here and there.
That's the cake. Their life isn't like Alonzo and our kids. They've had a hard time. They've had a hard life. Man, let's give them something that they could be thankful for.
This delivery is for Paul at the YWCA, who is turning 17.
Wow!
Happy birthday, Paul! Surrounded by his siblings and other kids, the Seahawks instantly connect.
Who can catch this?
Ooh, whoa, that's pretty good.
Good job.
That was nothing for her.
All right.
Quickly taking the party outside.
She called that like on the fingertips.
You can see.
In their element as athletes.
Throw it back to me.
And also role models.
Take a step back. You got to keep your eyes on the ball.
Randall stops to talk to Paul and his brother.
Man, whatever y'all goals are, man, just keep going after them, man. Just have that mindset, man, that I'm going to make it. No matter what, I'm going to make it.
And before goodbyes, a few autographs. At one point, Paul mouths the words, "Thank you, God." A young man of few words, but when he speaks, it's full of gratitude.
Hey, keep up the good work, man.
Paul tells Randall this was a first today.
Okay, man.
I never get any birthday celebrate. Today was my first birthday celebrate.
Really?
Really.
My man. That's good, man. I'm proud of you, man. Keep up the good work, okay?
And humble Paul, at 17, asks how he can repay them.
When can I pay you guys back? I want to pay you guys too back.
I want the way you pay me back. Keep doing well in school.
Okay.
All right, and score a lot of goals in soccer.
Okay.
All right. All right, buddy.
This birthday is about more than cake and presents.
I like that.
It's a day of inspiration.
I like that.
Humility.
All right, Paul. I'll see you later, buddy. Okay. All right.
And thankfulness.
Birthday Dinners is planning its annual fundraiser later this fall. Randall Morris will also be hosting a couple of fundraisers, including a celebrity poker tournament this summer. Stick around. We'll be right back. Adults are finding their inner child again, and new sales figures on toys backs that up. Market research firm Circana says from January through April, adults purchased more toys for themselves than they bought for anyone else. The report says adults bought $1.5 billion worth of fun and entertainment during that time period. Over the last year, adults say they bought them for fun, socializing, and collecting value. The report adds the top buys for adults included trading cards, Legos, sports toys, and Squishmallows, plus soft animal toys for beds. Top for action figures: X-Men 97, Marvel Legends, and a Star Wars Clone Wars Captain Rex action helmet. Well, cheers to America's oldest franchised restaurant chain, which is using its birthday to celebrate the greatest generation. A&W Restaurants is celebrating its 105th birthday starting this month. Anyone 100 or older will receive free root beer floats for life. That's sweet news for the roughly 108,000 centenarians in the U.S. The soda started following on June 20th, 1919, when A&W co-founder Roy Allen opened his first root beer stand in Lodi, California during a homecoming celebration for World War I veterans. And more than a century later, the brand continues to support military veterans through its work with disabled American veterans. Both vets and non-vets over 100 can claim their free treat by showing ID at any A&W location.
I absolutely love that video that they put together for that, and certainly worthy of getting that free root beer float. And with the temperatures rising, that's something you may want to look into. Even if it's not free for you, it'll still help cool things down. We're going to have clouds gradually increasing through the morning, and we'll eventually make it to 77 by 11 o'clock. Highs today warmer than yesterday, low to mid 80s, but will be mostly cloudy. But those mostly cloudy skies also don't stop that UV index from being very high, so make sure you're staying hydrated and taking precautions if you're going to be outdoors today. Clouds will begin to eventually clear out by the late evening and overnight hours. It'll be partly cloudy overnight, low 60s, and then as we head into tomorrow, we will be sunny, and those sunny conditions, safe Saturday, continue all the way through the weekend, and so do the hot temperatures into the low to mid 90s. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.